A group of more than 600 conservative gun rights supporters, including several major Republican donors, are calling on Congress to pass gun control measures following the mass shootings in Uvalde, Texas, and elsewhere. Many Texas residents, led by Todd Macklin, a former senior executive at JP Securities, signed an open letter in support of expanding background checks for gun purchases, passing red flag laws to deny firearms to people deemed a risk to themselves or the public, and raising the minimum age to buy some guns to 21. The letter appeared as a full-page ad in Sunday's Dallas Morning News with 250 signatures, including Robert Rowling, the billionaire founder of TRT Holdings, which owns Omni Hotels, and Ray Hunt, a billionaire oil executive. By Tuesday, more than 600 gun-owning Republicans in Texas and across the country had signed on, said Macklin. I believe all Americans are deeply disturbed by the level of gun violence in our country, Macklin said in an email to Reuters. As to this group, we want to do our part to encourage legislation that will help address the problem. The donors' stance represents a significant, if modest, shift away from Republican orthodoxy on the issue of guns. The party has shown little tolerance for support of any new limits on firearms, despite strong support among Americans for safety measures such as background checks and increased calls for reforms after the Texas massacre. In New York, Republican U.S. Representative Chris Jacobs abandoned his re-election bid under pressure from party activists after he backed banning assault-style rifles in the wake of the racially motivated mass shooting at a Buffalo, New York, grocery store that killed 10 black residents. Despite the tragedy at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, where an 18-year-old gunman killed 19 children and 2 teachers, gun enthusiasts and Second Amendment supporters said they are willing to consider new ways to curb gun violence. The issues are very complicated and demand thoughtful non-political solutions, the letter said. A bipartisan group of U.S. senators, including Republican John Cornyn of Texas, is discussing some reforms, such as encouraging states to pass red flag laws and providing federal funding to improve school security. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has argued that tougher gun laws will not prevent future tragedies and has said lawmakers should focus on expanding access to mental health services and tightening school security. A spokesperson for Abbott, a Republican seeking re-election in November, did not comment on whether he would support any of the measures sought by some of his major donors. Rowling and his company have given approximately $21 million to Republican candidates and party-aligned groups at the state and federal level over the last decade, according to campaign finance reports. Those donations include nearly $1.5 million to Abbott's 3 gubernatorial campaigns. Hunt has donated more than $10 million at the state and federal level since 2012, including nearly $2 million to Abbott's campaigns. Emails seeking comment from Hunt's and Rowling's organizations went unanswered. Since 2013, Abbott has received around $450,000 from Sam Susser, a private investment and banking executive